What is Angular? Angular is a development platform built on Typescript programming language, a component-based framework for building scalable web applications, a collection of well-integrated libraries that cover a wide variety of features including routing, forms management, and client-server communication. In a web application, when the user visits several URLs, he will be routed to corresponding page, which we call it as routing. In every web application, there will be a form for the user to do data entry operation and several other operations. There might be several validations and many more features, which we call it as forms management. For a web application to work, it should communicate with the web server or web API in the backend, which we call it as client-server communication. Let us see the essentials of Angular applications. First, we will take components. Components are the building blocks that compose an application. A component includes a TypeScript class with a component decorator, an HTML template, and styles, a CSS selector that defines how the component is used in a template. HTML elements in your template that matches the selector become instance of the component. An HTML template that instructs Angular how to render the component. An optional set of CSS styles that defines the appearance of the template's HTML elements. This is an example of an Angular component. At line number 1, we say import component from @angular/core. Basically, we are importing the component type from Angular core module. In the next line, we say @component and then selector template. The @component decorator accepts true properties selector, which is nothing but hello world. We will be mentioning the selector wherever we are going to use this component. The template basically represents the HTML form of the UI. This template will be rendered wherever this hello world selector is being used. In the next line, we export the hello world component to the external world. Let us see how to create an Angular component. In Visual Studio Code, I have an existing project with name My App. We have got the node modules installed, and we will see what is a source and app folder is all about. Under the app folder, I create a new folder for my new component. I name it as Hello World, and inside the Hello World folder, I'm going to create a new file. hello-world-component.ts. Basically, I'm creating a hello world component.typescript file. At line number 1, I say import component type from Angular core module, as shown in the previous slide. Basically, I am importing all the necessary functions and types from Angular core module in order to create a component. Whatever the properties and types I am going to create in this file, the definitions will be present in the component type. At line number 3, I say @component and at line number 4, I say what is the selector my component is going to use. So wherever we are going to use this component, we are going to use the selector hello-world as a HTML tag. And then I define a template property at line number 5, and I give all the HTML definition for how the component is going to look to the user. Here I basically say within the h2 tag hello world. So wherever I am going to use my component with the selector hello world, in that place hello world will be printed. And then I should export my component in order to use my component in external world. For that, in line number 8, I say export class hello world component. Under the hello world folder, I am going to create a new file, hello world component.html. Rather than specifying the design code inside the template attribute, we can create a separate HTML file and we can mention the design elements inside the separate HTML file. I am copying the code from line number 5 and pasting it in hello world component.html file. So I can use this HTML file inside the template URL attribute. I am going to rename the template attribute to template URL attribute, and for the value, instead of the HTML style definition, I say ./hello world component.html. So basically, rather using the template attribute, I am using the template URL attribute. It is just another way of defining the template for the Angular component. I go to the app routing module.ts file and edit the routes attribute to add a new path variable with name hello, and I link the component hello world component to that path variable at line number 10. Basically, I am saying whenever I find the word hello in the URL, I should render the hello world component. Under the terminal window, I say npm start, which in turn trigger the ngserve command. This builds my Angular application and post it in the web browser. Once the compiling gets completed, I can visit the web browser at port 4200 and then append /hello. I should see the hello world component getting rendered. Let us now edit the hello world component.ts file in order to change the style for our component. At line number 6, I say style URLs colon, and within the single quotes I say ./hello world component.css. Basically, I am going to create a hello world component.css file and I am going to give the style definitions. I create a new file hello world component.css under the hello world folder. And for h2, I am going to give a style definition. I say at line number 3, color colon red. So I want the hello world to be get displayed in red color, which is happening at localhost. If I change the color to blue, I can see the hello world is in blue color.